So it's very dangerous.
We have some pictures here that you can tell us about.
Okay, this is the DC-10, which was doing yeoman service fighting on this fire. And they had one particular incident up by the Griffith Park Observatory, or pardon me, the Palomar Observatory, where they had to bring this one in along with several other heavy air tankers to stop the fire before it reached the Palomar Observatory. They had 14 of the heaviest air tankers in the inventory to hit this. 6 C-130s, the DC-10, they had the Martin Mars water bomber, they had everything that was the heavy type aircraft they could throw at it.
And where did they get their water?
This one is based out of Victorville, so what they did was they would go back up to Victorville to refill and come back down.
How long does that take?
Typically it takes them 8 to 20 minutes on the ground, and then it takes probably another half-hour transit time.
I thought I heard of Victorville for the Big Bear.
So we're looking at about 45 minutes before they can get
back again. But of course when it gets there, it's got 12,000 gallons which you can drop, and that can make a big difference.
And I heard you can't drop it on a house.
No.
It gave in.
No. This is the Martin Mars, which was just brought in for the San Diego fires. And there's an interesting story, which we probably don't have time to tell all the details, but it was an 11th hour acquisition. And the same outfit that had gotten the DC-10 in brought in the Martin Mars, which is Wildfire Research Network. It's an outfit that I do technical consulting for. This dropped 7,200 gallons on it, and the CAL FIRE fire chief said that when they use this plane using gel inside instead of just water, like it shows in the picture here, they were able to knock out a fire that 3 helicopters had been working unsuccessfully for a couple of hours. One drop from this put the fire out. And so at that point they said, yeah, we're definitely going to keep using you guys.
Well, I would say so.
And this is the future. We had a meeting out in Simi Valley yesterday from several organizations. Boeing was there. We had a couple of wildfire groups that were there, myself, Wildfire Research Network, and we're trying to get this, which is the IL-76. It's a Russian-built plane, the Ilyushin 76. And we're trying to get together with a Texas businessman who is bringing a couple of these into the U.S. on lease to have these set up as being firefighting aircraft as well. These can drop up to 15,000 gallons of retardant, gel, or water on a fire, and they've been using them successfully over in Europe for years. This is a military transport plane which was built by the Russians to go through bad weather. It has night vision capabilities so they could fly at night, and it has all of the aspects we need. The bulge under the nose is ground mapping radar, so even if it's smoky they can see where the ground is with the radar.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember on your last visit with us too that you said the worst is yet to come.
Yeah.
And
does.
it did.
It came.
Yeah.
You think there's some more out there
absolutely.
gonna come?
Yeah.
I know around Thanksgiving we usually have fires.
This is called PCADS, which is Precision Container Air Delivery System. This is what we were meeting about in Simi Valley, because these are cargo type containers you could put in the back of a cargo aircraft. You can use this with Air National Guard, with Air Force, with private. You could even commandeer FedEx and UPS cargo planes, basically, to bring in and drop this stuff at a safe altitude so wind wouldn't be a consideration. You make one pass, check what the wind currents are, you make an adjustment, you come back with the plane, you drop these things out the back. It's like carpet bombing a wildfire.
It's fire retardant?
Yep, it can be fire retardant, it can be gel, it can be water,
anything,
whatever they want to put in there. You could even use this to rebuild jetties in areas where the hurricanes have washed away the
Why did they color the fire retardant?
They color it because if you're using it as a fire retardant to mark a line, you want to be able to see where the drop is ended so that you can make a continuation of that line. So they drop it and see, okay, it landed here, good, that means the next drop goes here, then after that's dropped, they see the next spot that is blank so they can drop it there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Firefighting budget, $284 million in 1997. 2007, $1.8 billion.
Yep.
A tremendous jump.
Yep. And many people probably saw that special on 60 Minutes about mega fires, which was on, ironically, the weekend that this all got started. And they were talking in there about the fact that they're expecting fires of 100,000 acres or more to become commonplace. They said if this had happened back in 1997, people would just be aghast that we had such a large fire. Because, of course, the total acreage burned to date has been 450,000 acres from these fires. They said now it's becoming the norm. And what they're looking at is they've talked to experts, and the experts who have worked at looking at tree rings and looking at the climate change and all these sorts of things are saying that we may see half the forest land gone within the next few decades in the whole country.
I heard that. And, you know, one of the other things that I happened to hear on the way home from work one day was a gentleman discussing these wildfires and the toll and the cost of fighting them. And part of his discussion, he says, this isn't an issue other than zoning. It's a zoning issue.
It's a zoning issue.
Should we allow homes up there?
No, they shouldn't. The problem is they build the homes up there. Somebody probably pays somebody off on the building council or whatever, and they say, oh, this won't hurt anything. We'll put it all up here and it'll be safe and everything. But then when the fires come, they expect the firefighters to go up and risk their lives to try and protect these homes, which are basically indefensible. And the fire departments are put in this unenviable position of either not fighting the fire and getting sued, which has happened, or fighting the fire and having people injured or killed in the action.
Right. Something interesting, we were changing homeowners insurance. Our insurance company went out of business, and we got a call from one that said, you better lock in with us now.
Yeah.
So we did immediately with another one.
Yeah, I'd heard Allstate is moving out of state.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Lloyd's of London is the biggest insurer for homes in the wildlands.
Can we show your little
It's going to, I think all our homeowners' policies are probably going to skyrocket because of this.
Yeah.
We all subsidize
We
this.
all pay for this.
We're getting close. This is a coyote.
This is a picture of a coyote that was captured on one of these cameras that they put out for the wildlife to check on wildlife populations. So it's a motion sensing camera. When an animal goes by, it takes a picture. This was taken during a fire. If you look at the little dots in the picture, those are embers flying by. The coyote is running through an area that had just burned, trying to get into a safe area.
Yeah, the toll on wildlife is going to be something.
You bet. Yeah.
It's going to be
Well, we're getting
substantial.
close to the end of our show.
Let's throw out a few more of his statistics.
Yes.
Take a look at the federal funds up there in the middle of the page, the FEMA.
Yeah.
$500 million was approved. It's got to get signed into law, and then they have to get the funding and so forth. And of that, $215 million will go to repay the funds to the U.S. Forest Service for all the equipment, all the personnel, the overtime. $150 million of it will go to the Interior Department of Forest for fighting fires. $90 million of this goes to reducing the trees and so forth that are out there to try and get rid of all that. And 75% of the suppression costs for a fire are paid by the federal government, which means the other 25% has to be paid by somebody else. Guess who that is?
$300 million by the state and $1 million by the locals.
Yeah.
And that's a heavy hit for local
You
government.
betcha, especially for looking at $10 billion being taken out of the state budget to support things.
That is tremendous.
Yeah.
It has really become, we are making a dent though in Glendora. We are taking some of the Ferguson property that has now gone into the Conservancy. They're working on some other parcels up there, perhaps the NJD property, the old Wildwood Ranch property, and hopefully we can, you know, get that into the Conservancy.
Yeah.
Because that's waiting to happen up there too.
For coming back, and we hope to have you back again soon.
Okay.
And we'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't have any more catastrophes like this.
Well, one last note, which is on a positive note, is that the water cache project, which I discussed the last time I was here, Boeing has stepped in and said that they would like to support that financially.
Oh, wonderful.
Is that the little bowls?
Yeah, the tanks up there on the hill.
That's good.
That would be great.
Well, let's take care of the pets, folks, and we'll see you next week. God bless. We're going into closed session.